This is Johnny with Tiger Bomb MMA, and tonight I'll be going over UFC Fight Night San Diego, Vera versus Cruz, going over the entire fight card, giving you my thoughts, predictions. As I do, no Jose this time. We did end up finding him. He had a good night for his date, which was good. Kind of surprised me that he actually got some. And he's not here this week. He actually got sick, so he won't be. Just got to fly in the room. But yeah, he won't be in this video, but wish him the best with his recovery. Funny enough, he just got a new job, and I mean a really, 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 really good job. And kind of sucks that he got sick immediately after like the first week, but he's getting paid for it, so it's all good to go. But let's get started with this fight card. I'm excited for it. We'll see if Chito Vera is the truth, or if Dominic Cruz can really pull out another UFC title run. It's a really good main event. I'm excited to see it. Overall, not too bad of a card, but let's get started with the first fight of possible rescheduling. I've just seen that. What was it? I know he likes it when I shout him out, but PayPal my money. I'm on your fucking Twitter, and I saw you posted the video where I guess what's his name, the dude from USADA or from the UFC's drug testing said that this fight may or may not be a possibility just due to Josh's recent results with a sample. I guess he has those pictograms, as John Jones called it, in his system still, and it's up in the air. I'm hoping it does, but nothing changes for me regardless. It actually makes me more confident in Josh Quinlan getting the first round knockout. Even the second round knockout, I think initially in the past video I said second round, I think first round. Jason Witt, a lot of people made up this, not narrative, I'm sorry, a lot of people brought this up, that him having to cut twice a weight cut is not going to be good for him. I honestly wouldn't have thought of that. I just thought whatever, but I think Josh Quinlan, if this fight happens, the deteriorated chin of Jason Witt isn't going to be able to withstand the pictogram punches of Josh Quinlan. So I'll go round number one, knockout for Josh Quinlan. The odds, let me actually read them, what they currently have them. Josh Quinlan minus 255, minus 250, depending on where you go. And then Jason Witt is a plus 215. So if, as I said last time, if Jason Witt can survive, Josh Quinlan, coming off the suspension, it's a possibility that things get turned upside down, and then Jason Witt ends up grinding out a decision or getting a late stoppage. But for me, Josh Quinlan ends up knocking Jason Witt out. I just don't see it, man. His chin has taken a lot of punishment, 2 weight cuts in 2 weeks, if it happens. But next bout taking place at, is it bantamweight? Believe so. Yeah, it is bantamweight because Yusuf is dropping down. So Yusuf Zalal, the Moroccan Devil, versus the monster Damon Blackshear. I didn't know much about Damon Blackshear. I've seen him fight. I just, on the prelims of Bellator and shit, you just don't really pay attention. And from what I've seen from the guy, he's not too bad. Like, his striking can use a bit of improvement, but his grappling is very, very, very solid. Like, I'm interested to see how he does in the UFC in general. And then Yusuf Zalal, on the other hand, he's on a 4-fight losing streak. I should mention that Damon is on a 4-fight winning streak. And correction, 3-fight losing streak for Yusuf. And he's had it pretty tough in the UFC with those 3 losses. Ilia Tuporia, he lost to Sungwoo Choi, and then he lost to Sean Woodson. And I was pretty confident Zalal was going to beat Sean Woodson, and it didn't materialize. He actually got tired, and Woodson just took over. This one's fun. It's going to be a fun fight because we get to see the improvements that Zalal has made, and we kind of know what Blackshear is going to want to do. From what I've seen, he loves to grapple, he loves the scramble, but he's not all that great off of his back. Like, he actually fought a lot of good guys. He fought, if I remember correctly, Pat Sabatini and his big brother / little brother / they're not related at all, Danny Sabatello. Funny story enough, I've told people that I really swear to God thought that Danny Sabatello was related to Pat Sabatini because I'm stupid and dyslexic. I'm like, hey, that's Pat Sabatini's little brother fighting. I guess he's going to do well. They fight exactly the same, but I think Sabatini's a lot better, especially with the stand-up. With this fight, I'm really intrigued because I kind of want to take a shot on Blackshear. Currently, they're a pick on minus 110, minus 110. At this point, I can't go against Zalal. I know what he brings to the table, and if he actually implements a good game plan of taking him down, Blackshear, I think he can do enough grinding on top to edge out a decision, because he absolutely needs a decision win. I know his cardio is going to be good because he trains with Elevation at Factory X, and I wouldn't put any money on this. I'm not going to put any. I'll still go with Zalal, but I am very intrigued by Damon Blackshear. See how well he does in his UFC debut. Um, I don't want to be one of those guys that say, like, I can see him winning, I can see him getting him, submitting him. But frankly, if you're thinking of the submission prop, if Ilya couldn't submit Zalal, I don't know if Damon can do it. And you have to consider also the weight cut that Yusuf Zalal is going to be going down. He's at 145 or going down to 135. So I'm interested to see how he looks on the scale. He's been gone for a year. If he's been, safely cutting, I think he can really do some damage at that 135 division. He has great movement. It's just that how well is his cardio going to be and how good is his chin going to be? Not that Damon's really like a knockout threat, but you really don't know. But I'll stick with Zalal by decision on this one. Next bout, Ode Osbourne versus Tyson Nam. This one, let's see what the odds are. Minus 220 for Osbourne comeback on Tyson Nam is a plus 180. I actually have Osbourne, spoiler alert, on a parlay already, like a multiple week parlay. And 1 second. I think he is flourishing at 125. I think he has the athleticism. He can safely cut. He doesn't have any troubles cutting down to 125. He's going to have the reach advantage by 4 inches. They're around the same height. The only thing you really have to watch out for Tyson Nam is that right hand. He's really good at that right hand. And Ode Osbourne, he's going to be the much more well-rounded fighter. The only person that could beat Osbourne is Osbourne in this fight. If he decides to try to stand and bang with Tyson Nam, which I do worry about, it's not something that I predict him doing, but if he starts like trying to test his stand-up against Tyson Nam, I'm going to be sweating bullets, but he should easily take down Nam and submit him. Ode Osbourne's a very well-rounded fighter. He's really good. It's just that his ego gets the better of him sometime. I think he can get a submission. I think he can get any arm bar, any rear naked choke. Don't bang with Tyson Nam, and he should win this one. So hopefully he doesn't do anything like that, because, again, he's a very talented fighter, very athletic, very lean. It's just that he recently got that knockout over Adeshev, and I don't know if he's going to like feel as if like I need another one. So we'll see. Tyson Nam's tough as hell. He's hard to knock out. He's taken punches. He's been beaten up, and he keeps moving forward. Ode does have a speed advantage, and last time I saw Tyson Nam fight was against Matt Schnell, who had a very good reach and speed advantage over him, and it was not a good night for Tyson Nam. It made Matt Schnell look like a world beater, and not to shit on Matt Schnell. I love Matt Schnell. Dude's a killer in there, right? He goes out in the shield, but it's Matt Schnell. Moving on. Intriguing bout. I'm actually very, very interested in this matchup between these two ladies with similar first names. It is Yasmin. I heard this name pronounced Jaurugui. Like, she's Mexican. I should know this shit, but I don't know that last name. And Isamin Lucindo. And the odds currently have it in favor of Yasmin, minus 240. Comeback on Yasmin is plus 200. Lucindo and Jaurugui. Jaurugui. That's it. Jaurugui. So this one intrigued me because I'm watching tape on both ladies, and there's a lot of question marks with both of them, right? Looking at both ladies, Yasmin, the Mexican fighter, she is a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and Yasmin, the Brazilian fighter, she's last I checked, the blue belt. Yasmin, the Brazilian, she likes to grapple more. She's pretty relentless with those takedowns. She can strike, but she's not the more polished striker. That is going to be Jaurugui, because she's a very good boxer, and she implements that Mexican boxing style, and she is a killer on the feet. I really like what I've seen from her. She's undefeated, 8-0, compared to the 13-4 of Lucindo. And to me, Lucindo, like, if you look at her tapology and whatnot, she has a lot of fights and a lot of losses, but they don't tell you how she lost, because they're like more than likely these like underground Brazilian fights. Yasmin comes from like Combates America, and it's hard to gauge those kind of fighters sometimes, but just looking at the skill set, she's leaps and bounds on the feet, the much superior fighter. So with this one, what concerns me, because I'm looking at the odds, like plus 200 on a 20-year-old girl from Brazil that seems like she can really, really put it on Yasmin. It makes me curious, like, should I take a shot on her? And I do like the relentlessness that she possesses. Like, she goes forward despite her only being a blue belt. She does really like to take it to the ground with the relentless takedowns, body locks, and whatnot. She's a strong girl too. Both these girls are. It just on the feet though. If she cannot get the takedown, if Yasmin uses her special takedown defense, aka grabbing the cage, it could be fascinating. If she can keep it on the feet, I think she's going to be leaps and bounds, like as I mentioned, superior. And she's very aggressive. Like, she will move forward and try to crack you in the mouth. Like, to me, it's like a dog or pass. Just kind of enjoy it because there are too many question marks. Like, I feel more confident in Yasmin Jaurugui opposed to Lucindo because she's a purple belt. Apparently, she's like the instructor in her academy for jiu-jitsu, but I've not really seen much of her get-up game. Like, it's fine, but like, I did see her grab the fence a lot of the times to get out of a takedown. I worry that if she can't get a knockdown or a knockout early, Yasmin, God damn it, is going to take her down repeatedly and kind of hold her there. And I don't know how good her jiu-jitsu is off of her back, but this one's really close to me. Like, I'm very intrigued by it. I was surprised. I'm like, a women's MMA bout that I'm intrigued by. Interesting. Like, they seem to be very good prospects, and they're both relatively young, 23 for the Mexican and 20 years old for the Brazilian. So I'll say I'll probably take a small shot, and I mean a very tiny shot, on Lucindo at those odds of plus 200 just in case. But to me, it just seems like Yasmin, despite having less fights, is just a more superior fighter on the feet. And I mean, that alone, that aggression that she possesses is like very impressive. So I'll go with her. I'll say by I don't know. I really don't know how this will play out because I want to say by knockout, but I think it's more likely a decision. I think she'll land the more significant punches on the feet. When Lucindo gets in trouble, I think she'll try to clinch and take her down, and she might hold her there, but she might be like leaking blood on her chest because of the significant strikes. So I'll go with Jaurugui by a decision, but it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm very, very, very looking forward to it. Next bout, we've got Gabriel Benitez versus Charlie Ontiveros, and let's see how much they're disrespecting Charlie. Not to say he doesn't deserve it, but he is a plus 280 underdog. Comeback on Benitez is a minus 350. Now, for this one, variables are, it's taking place at lightweight. I know Benitez tried to fight at featherweight for a little bit. He's moving back up. Much better suited there. He recently, when was it? Was it Onama? Yeah, Onama knocked him the fuck out. But prior to that, to me, Benitez looked better than I've ever seen him. Like, he looked really, really good on the feet. And Charlie, he's a pretty big lightweight. He's 6'2". He's 76 inch reach compared to the 71 of Mowgli Benitez. He's got a chin issue. He's always had this problem with his chin. And he nearly not, well, he dropped Steve Garcia multiple times. He's a very fast and sneaky guy, but if you put the pressure on him, take him down, you can easily just get on top and beat his ass. Benitez, to me, he's not a incompetent striker like Steve Garcia is. Steve Garcia recently got knocked out by that one Chinese fighter, literally like rushing forward with his chin up in the air. And I wasn't surprised that he got dropped by Ontiveros. Like, I even put a little bit of money on Ontiveros, like hedging that bet, even though I picked Steve. Like, you never know. He's very good with the kicks. For me, though, Mowgli, I think he's going to take him down or pressure him and just knock him out because Charlie, he is a very, very dynamic kickboxer. He's a Taekwondo black belt, if I recall correctly. He's basically the lightweight, funny enough, because he also fought at middleweight, but he is the lightweight version of, oh my God, Wright. What's the Beverly Hills Ninja? Like, very much similar to that. He's very dangerous, but if you crack him, he either cracks you or you crack him. And I think Mowgli, despite him getting knocked out, he's going to be fully hydrated here. he might even miss weight. I get a feeling that Gabriel Benitez is missing weight, but I got him to knock out Charlie Ontiveros in the first round. He just has to be very, very, very careful and avoid any sort of funky kicks from him, and he'll be fine. Next bout, another interesting little bout. This should be allegedly the preliminary main event. We've got Lucas Brzeski versus Martin Buday. And is it Buday or Buday? Whatever. But currently, the odds have it in favor of Martin. Minus 220 comeback on Brzeski is a plus 180. Brzeski recently fought on Dana White's Contender Series where he got a no-tap submission, very similar to how, what's her name, Juliana Pena got Nunes, but there was actually, arm under the chin here. And, they got overturned because very rarely does that happen where if a guy makes a mistake, like a referee makes a mistake, the commission's usually like, it, whatever, just sweep it under the rug. He literally didn't tap it. Granted, to Mark Smith's defense, it looked like he kind of tapped, like in the moment, like he kind of grabbed the wrist and it kind of bounced back, kind of tap-like, but definitely not a tap. This one is interesting because Brzeski, he is from Poland. He's got a 78.3-inch reach according to Tapology. I like what I see from the guy at heavyweight. Honestly, though, I wouldn't mind seeing him drop to light heavyweight because he last weighed in about 235 pounds. Martin's a big boy. He implements a very grinding style against the cage, and he's a strong guy. And he is 10-1, and I think he's definitely the rightful favorite because I do see him really controlling the fight against the cage, bullying Lucas against the cage, kind of landing pot shots here and there, knees, clinching him up, getting him tired. Lucas, he does have good cardio for a heavyweight. He has good output, and I think he has the better movement definitely because Martin's just kind of like a big plotty guy. This could be one of those moments where like the much faster, more dynamic heavyweight could actually land and get a relatively quick knockout. If it doesn't happen that way, Martin's going to take over and just wear on the guy, try to take him down, beat him up on the ground as well, the ground and pound. I mean, he was able to hold Chris Barnett, Huggy Bear, against the cage and just kind of wear on him. And that guy's a big dude too. And I just don't see Lucas having a chance if it gets to that like locomotive type of style. Like if Martin starts getting, more momentum, he's going to keep holding him against the cage. It's going to be easier to hold him, easier for takedowns. Lucas's cardio's pretty solid. It's just that he's going to have to strike really fast. And if he can't get that knockout, I just think Martin's just going to keep taking over. So for that reason, I'm going to take Martin by decision. I don't think he finishes Lucas, but it'll be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it because like at first I'm like, Lucas Brzeski, he doesn't seem all that impressive. I've seen his record. He's 8-1, 8-1-1. But what he did to that scrub on the Contender Series, I was like, oh, shit, not too bad. Like he'll be an interesting addition, but I much better suited at weight. I think he would be very fast there, much more dynamic. But we'll see. I'll go with Martin by decision. And next bout, we've got the prelim opener again. We've got Ariane Lipski versus Priscilla Cachoeira, as they call her on the MMA Twitters, Priscilla Catch a Beating or Priscilla Catch a Cheating. Now wait for the fucking thing. 1 second. There we go. My computer froze for a second, which is annoying because it's like a super expensive computer. All right, where are we at here with the odds? Are you fucking serious? Come on now. All right, here we go. So, rebooked matchup. Ariane Lipski missed weight last week. She is still listed as a favorite. Minus 185 comeback on Cachoeira is a plus 160. Don't know what to say about this one, really. Lipski is still the much better fighter, but Cachoeira can really make the fight grimy, and I think she's got a chance. I'm not touching it. I still will go with Lipski by a decision. I'm almost positive this fight's going to be in the prelims. So I don't know why I have it listed as the opener to the main card. But regardless, I've got Queen of Violence to win this one by decision. Zombie Girl, I mean, she's got a puncher's chance. It's just she's kind of sloppy, but that sloppiness is, I guess, very beneficial for her, because if she pressures Lipski, Lipski's not the most brightest girl, right? Even though I just said the most brightest girl, she's not the brightest girl. I think if Cachoeira can make her uncomfortable, she might make a mistake, and Cachoeira could take advantage of it. But regardless, I'll go with Lipski by a decision. Next bout, we've got Angela Hill versus Lupi Godinez. Let's see what the odds are at on this one. This one is also probably a prelim fight, but currently the odds have it in favor of... Where are they? Here we go. Ooh, minus... You can get Lupita Godinez as high as minus 365. Come back on Angela Hill as high as plus 300. I'm going to say it's going to average out currently at minus 250, plus 190 for Hill. And I mean, Hill's on a pretty bad skid. Lost to Tisha Torres, Amanda Lemos, and Virna Jandiroba. And what's interesting is that I actually took Angela Hill against Virna Jandiroba, and it looked like she definitely regressed. Like, I think she's finally getting to that age. She's 37 years old. Time is catching up with her. And, I like Angela Hill. I really do. Like, she's been at it for a long time. Like, she's had some good wins in the UFC. She's fun to watch. It's just that, like, when she is fighting a certain level of competition, it's just not good. You know what I mean? Like she's having really close fights, like with Michelle Watterson. I mean, that's more her level. That's more her generation. Lupita Godinez is a different generation fighter. She is very complete everywhere. My Lord, what she did to Ariane Carnelosi the last time out was incredibly impressive. Like, just takedown after takedown. I'm like, whoa, this girl is like, I was already high on Lupe Godinez from the start. Like, win or lose, this girl's always down to fight. She's down to fight anybody at any weight class. It doesn't matter how much of a reach and height advantage they have over her. Like, she's just down to fight. Like, I love this girl. And I just think she's going to overpower Angela Hill. I mean, Angela Hill, to her, what do you call it? To her credit, she's a very strong girl herself. She's a very, very muscular girl. I think she's met her match here with Lupita. I don't think that strength is really going to help her out this time. Like, her Muay Thai is very good, but I think Lupita, I mean, she's just a little pit bull. Like, she's willing to go out there and just do what she has to do to win. And just the way she handled the very incredibly strong and muscular Ariane Carnelosi, she's just shown a level of grappling beyond the comprehension that Angela Hill is going to be able to face, because she did fight, what's her name? Oh my God, the Brazilian. I'm thinking of her right now. She fought. Let me look her up. I can't believe I forgot her name. The Brazilian grappler who gasses out and likes butt sex. She beat her technically. Claudia Gadelha. I can't believe I forgot Claudia. I thought she beat Claudia Gadelha. So going by that logic, I'm like, she's just going to keep getting better and better. She was able to stuff takedowns, but, Claudia gasses out. Lupita's not going to gas out. I got Lupita Godinez to win this one by a decision. She's just going to completely steamroll Angela Hill. If Angela Hill can get a win over Lupita Godinez, like, she's, holy shit, that's impressive. She should retire right after, but I think Lupita's going to really put it on her and get that very, very easy decision win. Next bout, David Onama versus Nate the Train Lanwehr. And let's see what the odds have it currently at. Why does my computer keep freezing? Nate the Train, baby. Nate the Train. Yeah, I guess Nate the Train versus Onama is now listed as the co-main event. This is what happens when you get your shit ready before they finalize the card order. Minus 200 for Onama. Come back on Nate. Lanwehr plus 170. Not much to really add here. Nate the Train is a fun fighter to watch, right? He makes fights entertaining, but I'm very high on David Onama. He's shown just a very overall polished skill set. His striking isn't the most polished, but that power is ridiculous. That African power is something else. And Nate the Train, if he can survive this fight and somehow drag it out into the later rounds, I still think Onama has a chance to knock him out. Nate the Train's been knocked out 2 times in the UFC, once by Herbert Burns. Yeah, right. Herbert Burns, and he also got knocked out by Julian Erosa. And he's been in a lot of wars. He is one of these guys. He bites down on the mouthpiece and goes at it. And he showed a level of composure and intelligence in his last fight against Ludovic Klein, which was like, holy shit, he beat the crap out of Ludovic Klein, submitted him, and finished him. And you know how well Ludovic is doing at lightweight. So it's like, maybe that is the steam that the Train needed to get rolling. So to me, if he can finish Onama or just beat Onama, which I'm not putting out as an impossibility, I think Nate, dude was fighting Russians in Russia for a long time. He's got a way to win fights, but I think Onama's firepower is just so damn just ridiculous. And I think he knocks him out in the first round. I think he cracks him. If Nate the Train can really get the ball rolling, kind of try to take him down, even then I still think Onama is a much better grappler, much stronger guy. And he's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch height advantage. Actually, I'm sorry, 2-inch height advantage. Yeah, Onama knocks him out in the first round. Next bout. Oh, that's not the right picture. Nina Nunes. That's something else that happened. Here we go. Nina Nunes versus Cynthia Calvillo. Let's see what the odds are for this one. This is Nina Nunes plus 135. Comeback on Cynthia Calvillo is a minus 160. This one is one of the more difficult fights for me to actually break down because I rewatched tape on both of the ladies, and the biggest question marks are around Nina Nunes and how she has come along in training since obviously having her baby, and on top of that, being away for about a year. The bright side on Cynthia Calvillo is despite her being on a 3-fight losing streak, she's been active, right? She lost against Andrea Lee, beat the crap out of her in about 8 months ago. She's been getting a lot of damage dealt to her as of late, like the TKO against Andrade. I mean, there's no shame there, but getting TKO'd on the stool by Andrea Lee, it was like, I mean, Andrea Lee's got some good striking, but that's concerning. I would say Nina Nunes' striking is top notch for, that division. The biggest issue with her is the takedown defense, the submission defense, and all that. I mean, she actually beat Claudia Gadelha. And to me, at that point, I'm like, wow, this girl is finally putting it together. Like, fantastic for her. And then she ran into Tatiana Suarez and Mackenzie Dern, 2 of the more dominant grapplers in that flyweight division. So to me, I think she's been preparing a long, long time for the grappler type like Cynthia Calvillo. I know Cynthia's been really working on her boxing, but with that type of damage that she took in her last few fights, I'm just concerned that if Nina Nunes lands something like a kick up to the mouth, she's just going to like call it quits. Like, not to say that like, oh, she's a quitter or anything. Like, she's just taken too much damage. And at a certain point, you got to think about your health. But we'll see, man. I'm interested in this one, but I'm going to take Nina Nunes by a decision just because I think she keeps it on the outside. She's going to keep that momentum rolling from her family. I know Amanda just recently won. And I think if they did a camp together, which I'm not positive, I mean, I think having Nina or having Amanda as your wife is going to be beneficial, despite me not respecting Amanda because she's not the GOAT, but Valentina is. Wouldn't that be some shit if Nina Nunes makes it all the way to the title and Valentina beats the shit out of her? That way she can officially have a Nunes on her resume. Oh man. Next bout, Gerald Meerschaert versus Bruno Silva. Let's see what the odds are on this one. We've got Bruno as a minus 275 comeback on Gerald Meerschaert plus 220. I rewatched both their recent fights like tonight, and Bruno Silva, how the hell he survived against Alex Pereira is baffling. His chin is something else. I mean, he fought tooth and nail, and he was doing some he was doing really well on the feet against Pereira, which I was like, oh crap, like I was scared. I had him on a parlay. It ended up cashing, of course, because of Pereira bringing it home there, but he gave me a bit of a scare, and I did think it was funny that a lot of people were saying like black belt Bruno Silva is going to take down Alex Pereira. I'm like, I don't know about that. Like he did take him down, but he couldn't do much with it. Gerald Meerschaert, as we know, he's a very dangerous guy. He's very unassuming, very great with the chokes. Very unathletic though. That's the biggest problem. And to me, that last fight with him and Jotko, it was concerning as hell. Like if Jotko's like landing on you at will and kind of hurting you and stumbling you a little bit, I don't know what to say about Bruno Silva landing on you. Bruno Silva hits incredibly hard, and he was landing those punches on a phenomenal, experienced kickboxer like Alex Pereira. I do not fathom a world where Gerald Meerschaert's defense is going to be better than Alex Pereira. So for me, I've got Bruno Silva by I'm going to say a second round knockout. I think Gerald Meerschaert, as he does, he's going to shoot for a takedown. This could be first or second round, but I do have Silva by knockout. Like he's fought, tooth and nail. Andrew Sanchez, for example, I put money on Bruno Silva to beat Sanchez, and I'm worried out of my mind. Like he keeps getting taken down. Third round comes, he just finishes him. Gerald Meerschaert isn't going to have that type of takedown game, that wrestling game, like to kind of take Bruno Silva down. He can potentially catch him with something like I don't think a strike or anything, but like kind of jump for a guillotine and maybe submit him, because despite Bruno being a black belt, he doesn't necessarily like want to take it to the ground. And that's how much I respect Gerald Meerschaert's guillotine and submission game, that he can submit a black belt and a great fighter like Bruno Silva. But other than that, I think Silva knocks him out. So I'll go second round to be safe, Bruno Silva. Next bout. This one also kind of gave me like concerns. I'm like, I don't know where to go with this one, because I've seen glimpses of negative things from both fighters, but we've got Devin Clark versus Azamat Murzakanov. Currently Murzakanov minus 175. Come back on. Devin Clark is a plus 145. So get it out of the way. Murzakanov, his last fight against Tafan and Chukwi, I had Azamat on multiple parlays. I mean, a lot of parlays. I was like shedding myself in the second round. I'm like, this guy is getting outstruck, and he can't take down Nchukwi. Like he just couldn't do it. Like he was just overpowered by the guy. Like he just couldn't get anything off. He ends up getting a miraculous knee knockout in the third round, which was like good, because it showed that he still had that wherewithal, even though he was tired. Because in that first round, he looked great, bouncing up and down, landing punches. But he's not the most incredibly polished striker, but he has glimpses of greatness on the feet. Like I like the way he bounces on his feet. I like the way he moves forward. I like the way he covers distance with that overhand. But he gets sloppy down the line. That's what concerns me. And if he can't take a guy down, like we saw against Nchukwi, I'm like, oh shit, it's going to be a nail biter. For Devin Clark, his biggest issue, as always, has been the chin. He's incredibly athletic. He's got fantastic speed. He's got power in his hands. He's just afraid to throw his hands because he's afraid of getting knocked out. He's been there, but he's a tough guy, and I've grown to really respect the shit out of Brown Bear Devin Clark. Like he's one of these guys that, despite not being the, frankly, he's not the greatest fighter in the world. Like I think he knows that, but he's still able to get wins. His win against William Knight was kind of, to me, like a good confidence booster for him, because he fought a really tough guy, very strong. And to me, Devin Clark did not look as dominant as I wanted him to be, as I wanted him to look, as I expected him to look. Like he wasn't really able to take down, William Knight with his technique. He did eventually get him down, not to shed on his technique, but he just wasn't able to easily get him down as I expected him to. I mean, Azamat's a great wrestler in himself. I think the wrestling might cancel each other out. I think if anyone gets a takedown, I don't want to say that, because I do think Devin Clark can take down Azamat. He's a very, very, very powerful guy, and he's a very, very technical wrestler, and he's got good cardio, and he's a very tough guy. I don't think he's going to be able to really do anything on the feet against Azamat. Azamat did not do well against Nchukwi because Nchukwi kind of walked him down, and he was confident in himself on the feet. Devin Clark kind of, here's what this is when I knew Devin Clark's not winning this fight. His fight against a very similar build as Azamat, which is obviously previous fighter William Knight, he got walked down. He got walked down against the cage. He didn't establish a jab. When he did land a jab, it was nice, but it just seemed a little too concerning. That fight did take place at heavyweight, and he did eat some shots from Knight, but that lack of a weight cut probably was something that did wonders for him. Back at light heavyweight, I just see, as much as I want Clark to win, I just want him to win, right? Like I want him to get a bit of a win streak because, again, I like the guy. I think Murzakanov's going to catch him with something, an overhand right, and he's going to hurt him and finish him on the ground, which sucks. But if it gets pushed to the later rounds and Devin Clark's still in there and that knockout gave him a shit ton of confidence and he's going out there striking with Murzakanov and avoiding all of the winging punches down the line, I think Devin Clark has a shot, but I'm still going with Murzakanov round number 1 knockout. From the tape I saw, like, Devin Clark puts himself in these bad positions just backing up, and that's exactly what Murzakanov wants. If he cannot land that punch, I think he's going to duck under for a takedown. But my biggest thing with Murzakanov, from what I've seen, he likes to stand. He likes to keep it on the feet. But yeah, interesting fight. It is it the co-main event? It is not the co-main event. Co-main event is Onama, but whatever. Cards are all fucked up. Oh, fuck. I forgot to change the picture for Chito Vera. What a bitch. Damn. Picture Chito Vera in that picture, not Thiago Santos. So let's pretend there. This fight, Marlon Vera versus Dominic Cruz. I've been thinking about it quite a bit because I think the odds are potentially a little too wide for Marlon. He is a minus 190 comeback on Dominic Cruz, a plus 160, taking place in San Diego. Hometown hero here in Dominic Cruz, the 2-time UFC champion, the long reigning WEC champion. Here's the shit about Dominic. I've always loved his style. I've loved the way he moves. He's always been so obviously dominant. His nickname, the Dominator. But it seems as if obviously he's getting older. He's kind of slowing down. Like, his last few wins have been impressive. Like, against Casey Kenny, not so much. He still went out there and schooled Casey. The one that really impressed me was the one against Pedro Munoz. I honestly don't remember if I picked Munoz or Dominic Cruz, but I do recall moving, I was doing some labor work and I heard that Dominic Cruz got dropped. I wasn't watching at the time, and that he survived. I'm like, shit. Now that he survived, I knew he was going to take over the fight and win the decision. I didn't live gamble at that time, on my phone or online, so I didn't place a bet. But he was as high as a plus 350 according to the commentators during that fight. And that's when I knew, I'm like, damn, Dominic, despite him kind of his durability is not where it used to be, and he's not as quick to the punch as he used to be. He's not as technical as he used to be because he's kind of flinging punches. He's still Dominic Cruz, and he's still a great fucking fighter. He's number 9 in the world, the bantamweight. Chito Vera, on the other hand, as we know, Chito he's a marauder. He's a dog. He's out there. He's grimy. He's nasty. He fights with an aura as if he knows he's going to win. He sets things up well. He uses his elbows, his knees. He's good on the ground. He trains with Bisping, obviously, the Ruka training facility. So Bisping's always bitching about if you cannot, go for a submission, try twice or try to get back up. Or if you can't get back up, he's throwing elbows. This fucker's throwing elbows to Frankie Edgar. The dude's a savage guy. What he did to Rob Font was criminal, in my opinion. He should be locked up for that. He messed him up really, really bad. And he's always live to get a knockout or for a finish, or for sure guaranteed a fantastic fight. Maybe not fight of the night, because there's some great fights going to happen here, but guaranteed a contender for fight of the night. My concerns with Cheeto are that despite he's been getting a lot better over the years. Like when he first came to the UFC, he's not training hard. He's in the US now, and he's miraculously. It's a horrible word because that indicates that he's not training hard and he's doing it by luck. He's working his ass off, and he's getting significantly better each and every time out there. With Cheeto, though, my concerns are if he wasn't necessarily winning that entire fight against Rob Font. Rob Font was winning that fight until he wasn't. And by that I mean he was getting outstruck. Granted, he was blocking a lot of the punches, but on paper, Marlon was losing that fight against Rob Font in the first round. He drops him, he hurts him, nearly finishes him. He wins that round. Second round, rinse and repeat. Like same shit happens. He's losing on paper, and then bam, he ends up getting the damage on Rob Font. Ends up getting that round. At least I don't recall the scorecards, but every time I kept thinking to myself watching it live, like, oh shit, Marlon Vera's losing, and then now he's not losing, he's winning. Like it just kept happening like that. He kept hurting Rob Font very badly. Dominic Cruz, he's been hurt in his last few fights. Obviously, Triple C hurt him and finished him, and then Pedro Munoz essentially, like, if this would have been a different ref, if you know what I mean, that fight would have been stopped because he got dropped. He made some funny faces, and then he grabbed the legs and recovered. That recoverability that he had was impressive as hell. Like he's still Dominic Cruz to an extent. My biggest worry about going with Marlon Vera is that if he is feeling comfortable, like he knows he's going to win because he has a lot of time left, being a 5-round fight, I can see him letting this fight slip through his fingers. Dominic Cruz is a crafty veteran, right? And my biggest issue with Marlon is that although his takedown defense has significantly improved, Frankie Edgar was able to get him down and hold him there. And Frankie Edgar's a smaller fighter. These guys are virtually identical, bearing a 2.5 inch reach advantage for Marlon Vera. Boxing, cardio, and speed, I think, is going to go to Dominic Cruz. Well, I shouldn't say cardio. Marlon's got good gas tank as well. But the power, the griminess, and honestly the determination and the chin is going to go to Marlon Vera. My biggest issue with this fight is that if Cheeto can start dictating the pace with low leg kicks, slow down Dominic Cruz, and make Dominic go to him, I think Marlon has an easy fight because I think he catches Dominic and I think he finishes him. If Marlon has you hurt, he's going to finish you, bearing his last performance. I don't know why he didn't finish Rob Font. Maybe he felt bad for him. I felt bad for Rob Font. It's like, hey, I don't want to kill this guy. Marlon has to finish Dominic Cruz or at least beat him in dominant fashion, very similar to Cody Garbrandt, for him to get an instant title shot. I guarantee you that if Marlon Vera finishes Dominic Cruz, he's going to get a next title shot. Like, I just don't see a way he doesn't. Oh, shit, that'd be awesome. But Dominic Cruz as well, like if he can beat Marlon Vera, I mean, to me, this is a title eliminator for the next shot against either Dillashaw or Sterling. But yeah, to me, the odds are a little too wide, nearly 2-1 for Marlon, when I know he can let the fight slip through his fingers. Like, again, like if he fights super confidently as he should, I just see Dominic Cruz dancing around him and edging out a decision. And then say the 5th round comes, he throws a flying knee and knocks out Dominic Cruz out. It makes me look stupid. So it's a really tough fight to call, in my opinion. I don't have the best read on it because, this one's tough. Like I have listed down Marlon Vera by 4th round TKO. I think if he comes correct here, he can finish Dominic Cruz. But again, Dominic Cruz at plus money, a guy with all the 5-round experience in the world, one of the best to ever step in the cage, in my opinion, and really a know-it-all when it comes to MMA. He's kind of a prick in general, but you got to give the guy his respect. It's a tough one for me because, as well, with the crowd out there, pro Dominic Cruz, if it hits the scorecards, Dominic Cruz isn't losing this fight. So Marlon absolutely has to finish. Knowing how Marlon fights, again, he's a grimy dude. Dude can just hit you out of nowhere and hurt you. So that's why I'm like very reserved on this one. I'd like to know in the comments what you think about the main event. Like if I'm right being cautious with Dominic Cruz, or you know something. Like, again, Dominic Cruz has had a lot of issues with his legs. The knees have given out. Like, he has to wear, on occasion, he wears the ankle wraps. And I like to think that the low calf kicks and leg kicks that Marlon Vera is going to throw are going to affect him. But he hasn't really shown a slowing down process when that. Like, he seems to eat the kicks well, Dominic, that is. Unless, that big Ecuadorian toe ends up hitting Dominic Cruz in the right spot, maybe he'll go down. Yeah, I'm 50-50 on this one. I believe in Marlon Vera that he can get the win. I'm going to go out on a limb. I know, to me, it's like a dog or pass. I'll probably put a shot on Dominic Cruz by a decision because there's no way in hell he's finishing Marlon Vera. No fucking way in hell. But I'll go with Chito Vera. I'm going to say 4th round TKO. I think there's going to be a lot of people upset with their Chito Vera tickets going into like the 2nd and 3rd round. Like, he's not doing enough. Like, he's just not able to get to Dominic. He might have a flurry here or there where your ticket's like by TKO on Marlon Vera, and you kind of jump out of your seat. You're like, oh, he's got him, but Dominic's going to like scoot under and then try to take him down, maybe even get him down easily. But I think later in the rounds is where Marlon's going to really shine, and really the cumulative damage that he's going to land on Dominic Cruz is going to be significant because, like, again, Cruz got dropped by Pedro Munoz and nearly finished. And that was with a jab by Pedro. If Marlon lands with something significant, possibly an elbow, maybe a knee, like a well-placed low leg kick, because Cruz likes to like duck and dodge. And I think if he lands a perfectly timed head kick, whether it's blocked or not, I think it's going to hurt Dominic Cruz. So for those reasons, because just Marlon's such a dangerous fighter, and Dominic Cruz, you're in most danger of losing, a decision to him. Marlon's always going to be dangerous, but damn, it's going to be a close fight to me, like on paper. If Marlon goes out there and just finishes him in the first, like, that's the new number 1 contender in my book. But it's going to be tough. I'll go with Marlon Vera, 4th round TKO. I'm not putting him on any parlays. That's just asking for trouble. But I'll go with Marlon Vera, 4th round TKO. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments what you think about this one, because to me, it's not that simple. To me, it's not as simple as like Marlon Vera has been looking good and he's going to knock out the old aging bantamweight champion. Everyone thought that, like, a lot of people thought the same shit with Vera and Aldo. Like, oh, Aldo's gonna, crumble with the power and the pace and all this shit. And we saw the veteran tactics that Aldo used against them. And that Chito Vera, where he's just like upset and making jack off motions to the ref and shit, that is not the Chito Vera I want to see, because Dominic Cruz can make people frustrated. Like, he can definitely frustrate the shit out of people with his movement. If that happens, I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm going to be like, God damn it, Chito, stop fucking around and get your shit together. But, he showed very good composure and very good, patience in his last fight. So actually his last few fights, he was getting taken down by Frankie Edgar. He seemed fine, attacked off the bottom. His takedown defense looked better. Frankie's much smaller, much easier to go for the legs. Dominic Cruz likes to use like that knee tap, like from far away, pushes you, grabs the knee, takes you down. And, my concern at the first time was like maybe Dominic Cruz just grapple fucks him. I doubt that, because Cruz, I don't think he's going to want to get too close to Marlon. Marlon's going to probably bite him. But yeah, that is my prediction for that fight. Let me see what I have here for possible parlays. So if you want to see my dumbass parlays, or as I call them, my tiger bum ass parlays, follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. Follow the Discord. Definitely some great people on the Discord. I would shout you out. Fuck it, I'll do it right now. Let's see who's the first person on the Discord right now. We've got Sword Songs and a certain guy that he shall not be named, but changes his name often. You know who the fuck you are. Never tell us who you are because of the info that you give us, by the way. God damn. This is some shit. But let's take a look at the possible parlay. So I've got Gabriel Benitez, currently my bookie, not my bookie, but my personal bookie at my casino has him at a -375. Fuck it, I'll put him on there. I'll take Martin Buday. I think he's going to grind out a decision. Let's see here. David Onama, I think he's at a pretty decent price at a -225, knowing that he can really put the lights out. Bruno Silva, I'm putting him on there. Who else is on here? Is that all they have? I think because the rest of the card has been like postponed from previous from the previous card, they're not on there. But with those 4 people alone right now, is that all I want? Yeah, with those 4, it's a plus 250. So let's do that again. Benitez, Buday. There's no props yet. At the end of the day, I might go with a couple props like Cynthia Calvillo versus Nina Nunes. Because I actually want this one to win. Because the last one I had, it wasn't too bad, but I had 2 plays that didn't really pan out. It's only like a $5 parlay that I put. I took a shot on Sakai, and Sakai, like, I picked Spivak to win. I knew Spivak would win, but there was a slight chance. I'm like, maybe Sakai has made the proper adjustments. Didn't happen. I'm going to go with Murzakanov as well with those 5. So Benitez, Buday, Murzakanov, Onama, and Silva, plus 430. I might add more to this, but so far, like, I'll probably put like $20 on this one. It's not a parlay that I'm expecting to win, but it's one that I'm not necessarily confident. I'm just confident in the guys to win. I'll probably play around with it when it comes to like the props once they're out, but I do like those 5 guys. If anybody's coming out, it's probably going to be Murzakanov and Buday. So I'll go with Benitez, Onama, and Silva. If I want a real 2-person parlay for the time being, I do like Onama and Silva, and that gives me a minus 107. It's not plus money, but it's still pretty good. So that's where you put your decent money. So maybe $100 on that to get me 94. We'll see. I'll play around with it. But that's been Johnny from Tiger Bomb MMA. Hopefully the video didn't cut out because my computer's being a twat. But make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think on the main event. Very intrigued by it. And also, as always, fuck Oberg. Good night.